Okay, Bob, pronounce your last name.
Entrop.
Spell it for me.
E-N-T-R-O-P.
All right, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're a native of Roswell?
I am a native of Roswell, a son of a native of Roswell, who was the son of a native of Roswell. So I've been here a long time, and I was always fascinated with radio.
Okay.
And so when I was about 16 years old, I rode my motorcycle up to KBIM-TV radio here and just walked inside and told them I wanted to be a disc jockey. And somehow that worked out, and pretty soon after I learned the craft a bit, I was ending up the nighttime rock and roll disc jockey on KBIM-TV, and I thought I was on top of the world.
And so TV stations, I mean, I understand 2 TV stations at one point.
There were 2. KBIM, of course, was the first, and
Loud trucks too.
Loud trucks here. KBIM was the first. I think they went on the air in '66 or something like that. And, they were doing local programming all along. Later in the 80s, Roswell kind of had a boom, and KOB from Albuquerque opened up an outfit here, a satellite operation here. And for a while, they had a fairly large operation. And even KOAT, the ABC outlet in Albuquerque, also opened up a smaller satellite operation here. So for a while here, there was apparently some good advertising opportunities here.
And it seems to all be driven by the ad down. You can't just pay somebody to go down there if there's no return.
No, that's exactly right.
So what is this station, what is KBIM itself meant to this community in terms of news coverage and the community voice? How would you have the Roswell Daily Record, you have KBIM radio had?
KBIM radio, and of course, I believe the ownership was common at one time, the radio and the TV station. I know it was.
They were.
And KBIM was always the big gun. They were the top 40 radio station. When I can remember when there were 3 radio stations in Roswell. And KBIM was always at the center of it. And when they opened up the television station, KBIM was really, honestly, the heart and soul of Roswell as far as information goes. And they spread out because they had a 1,000-foot tower out there, and they covered Hobbs and Carlsbad and this big surrounding area. So they had bureaus in these other towns, and they had reporters running around with expensive minicams on their shoulders, and they had a pretty sharp operation going here.
You don't hear the term minicam too often anymore.
I probably hasn't used that word minicam in a while.
Many years. So a lot of news to be covered this town. I mean, it seemed to always have like the county commissioners, city council. Well, you weren't involved with radio news. You were mainly the record spinner.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was, when I was in radio, I didn't have anything to do with news other than just be watching it and kind of be fascinated by it.
You weren't directly involved with KBIM yourself?
My involvement with KBIM, no, I've never worked for KBIM. I remember being offered a job there by John King at one time, but I never did that because after my little radio on-air career ran its course, I discovered I was a lot better at production than I was at on-air. And I really enjoyed making commercials. And then I found I really enjoyed making magazine ads, newspaper ads, billboards, the whole thing. And I got into the advertising agency business. My little office for the ad agency was across Main Street here.
Okay.
And I came over here to make my radio and TV commercials for my clients.
What was that like? Well, talk about when you came in, starting, what would that have been?
Well, it would be the late 70s, early 80s sometime.
What was that like? Would you come in here and you'd have it all figured out, or they would figure it out?
Yeah. No, I would have everything written, everything approved and ready to go. I would be the producer, and I would come in, and that was a time when if we wanted to have supers on the screen, graphics superimposed, you brought in art cards, and you'd have a whole stack of art cards saying sale or whatever, and they would shoot those with a separate camera and superimpose them on. And the machines they ran on back then when we first started, they had a pair of quad machines with the 2-inch tape. And that was what we did our production on. And they had a pretty impressive production room and a full studio in there. Of course, they did news, full newscasts at 6 and 10. So my relationship, and I knew everybody here, and they all liked to see me come in. But my relationship was as an ad buyer, I ran stuff on their stations, and you know, kind of the talent that came in and was doing some work for him.
So who else do you remember? John King? Anybody else that comes to mind?
Well, John and Betty, of course, and Bill Taylor, who was Betty's father. I remember, of course, Gene Reichman was one of the owners. Mark, his son, I remember a lot. I'm trying to remember.
That's okay. I'm just fishing.
Just fishing for.
I'll edit around it.
You'll edit around it. I'm trying to remember the. Was Frank Tracy? Frank Tracy had used to do the news way back when I watched KBIM, before I was in the business.
Talking about Frank, but I never.
And that was back when they had a one-camera shoot for the news, and the poor guy just had to sit up there without a break or anything and read the news, no teleprompters and all that. Yeah, I'm searching for some other names. You know, Bill Austin Wagner, who ended up being a television weatherman in LA at KTLA,
Okay.
started here at KBIM.
Really?
And Larry Aarons, who's still on the air in Albuquerque, started here at
I know
KBIM.
that.
do you know Larry? Yeah.
He did mornings.
He did mornings here, yeah. And
Who was the midday? Dusty something. I can't remember his. He worked. Well, I don't want to take up your
Yeah.
time, but so what else would you want people to know about this station? About, you know, just kind of that now that it kind of, I don't really want to comment about what's going on with it now, but your thoughts on its legacy here in Roswell.
well, you know, there were some big names. Steve Devine used to do weather here. Vic, I can't think of his name, who does the sports in Albuquerque. Anyway, he was here. You know, you turned to KBIM. You really did. The town relied on KBIM, and I don't think we realized how much until all that has gone away. We don't have local. It's very hard to know what's going on in our town. Used to, you could turn on KBIM and knew everything you needed to know to make that decision on how to vote or who to yell at or who to compliment. You know, this was really important.
Did you ever know John Anderson, the weather guy?
I did know John
I
Anderson.
worked with him. I liked him.
John was a great guy, and of course he started out at KSWS-TV, the first station in town, back when it was an independent. He actually, after he retired, he did voiceovers for me for Bullock's Jewelry.
Oh, really?
And because his voice, everybody knew that voice. They may not know who did it, but everybody, the old timers, knew John Anderson's voice. He had a very distinctive voice. So he would read the radio and TV commercials for Bullock's Jewelry.
Yes.
And he did that for many years, and it was always fun to work with him.
Well, that's all I really want to ask. Is there anything else, any other stories you thought of, or crazy things you thought of? Or that's good. What you've got given me is great.
All right.
Coming here and really feeling sad yesterday, I thought maybe there would be some presence here.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell by looking on Google whether.
It used to. I mean, they clung to a little operation here for a while, where, you know, you had a rep who you could come in and buy spots for. I couldn't make them here.
Yeah.
But and then they finally closed it down. I think of that place, it was so lively. You know, the radio and TV were both in there, and there must have been 30, 40 people that worked there.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, it was busy, it was buzzing all the time, and I always enjoyed coming over here.
I'm gonna stop.